Welcome into the Bucknuts Morning 5. I am Dave Biddle, joined by Steve Hellwagon. Steve, let's start off talking about football recruiting before we get into the disaster that's known as Ohio State basketball. Football recruiting, Solomon Thomas, a name that's been on Ohio State's radar for months. He is out of the running. According to our Bill Curley, he has dropped Ohio State. He's probably going to go to Stanford, in my opinion. So that leaves, if the Buckeyes are going to take one more defensive lineman, that leaves either Derek Nottie, Malik McDowell, or Daniel Cage, kind of that off-the-radar guy from Cincinnati Winton Woods. Derek Nottie's the one I'm really looking at, Steve. I really hope he becomes a Buckeye. Maybe he's a long shot. I'm not really sure. He's keeping it close to the vest. But any thoughts you want to give about Daniel Cage, Derek Nottie, or Malik McDowell?
Yeah, I would agree with you. I think Nottie's probably the one who is most likely out of that group. For the longest time we thought Ohio State did have a shot at Thomas, but looks like he has narrowed it down to Stanford, UCLA, and Arkansas, which is unfortunate. Of course, McDowell, the Michigan kid, a lot of people think he's going to end up at Michigan State. They have really struck while the iron is hot up there at Michigan State, coming off that Rose Bowl win. As far as Cage, right now, Ohio State has not offered him, and Illinois and Louisville appear to be his top two schools. He's got visits coming up with Notre Dame and Michigan State and Missouri, so he's got kind of a full dance card there. But if Ohio State made some inroads there and decided they wanted to take a look at Cage, I'm sure they could get him in for a visit. So at this point, it's probably Nottie or Cage. Nottie may be the higher priority of the two. And, this class is pretty much done. It's kind of the way I look at it.
Yeah, Steve, I was just about to ask you real quick. They have 22 now. I think they could take two more. They could get to 24 if they wanted. There's going to be guys that transfer. I don't have any names to throw out there, but I guarantee you there's going to be a guy or two that transfers. Could they get to 24 in your estimation, or do you think that's pushing it a little too much?
I think that's pushing it too much. I don't think there's any reason to reach at this point. The class is really good. I mean, you look at the offensive line haul that they're getting. They just took Brady Taylor as the fifth guy on that offensive line, flipped him from Virginia Tech, and that offensive line haul, you lose Mewhort and Lindsley and all those guys, and you're replacing them with Knox and Jones and Taylor. It's a good group. You can't expect Braxton Miller and Carlos Hyde to do the things they do without a Mewhort and a Lindsley, or in this case, without a Knox and a Jones. So I think that really bodes well. Ed Warner is worth his weight in gold as far as I'm concerned as the offensive line coach. So, yeah, I think they did great there, did great across the board, filled their needs, and time to move on probably to 2015.
Ohio State basketball, unfortunately, we have to talk about this. Mired now in a 4-game losing streak. I thought for sure they'd go to Nebraska and just take up their frustrations on the Cornhuskers. And
you would have thought.
Right, exactly. So you have Nebraska students storming the court after the game. It's just, see, we're going to look back on this and be like, they were really ranked third at one point. They've gone from third, to 7th to 11th to now 17th. At least in the AP poll, they're 17th, 15th in the coaches. A lot of things are wrong with this team. Offensively, they're about as anemic as you can get. Quentin Ross, I thought would be as good as Deshaun Thomas. I was completely wrong about that. One thing about Deshaun Thomas, he was gritty. He was just a grittier player than what we see from LaQuinton Ross. And LaQuinton's hot and cold. He's not the biggest problem on the team by far, but I'm just pointing out he's not as good as I thought he would be. They start 2 point guards that neither of them can shoot. When Lenzel Smith isn't scoring, this team is just not going to score. And I don't see it getting that much better. I think they're going to make the tournament, Steve, but I don't see them getting past. I think the max for this team is the Sweet 16.
Oh, yeah, and that's if they hustle at this point, because what kind of a good team are they going to beat if they can't score more than 55, 60 points? They are really hamstrung right now because Ross isn't hitting, Smith isn't hitting, Loving's hitting the freshman wall at this point. He's not giving them a whole lot. Amir Williams was playing pretty well at one point, but has backed down from the challenge, it seems, in Big Ten play. Eliason from Minnesota just completely dominated him. And, you look across the board, Kraft and Scott don't even look to score. It's just a total mess. All Thompson can do is the alley-oop, it seems. He did step in and hit a nice three early in the game, but the way that they're shooting, they're 25% on threes, and they're jacking up 20 of them a game. Those are a lot of empty possessions that go the other way. And they didn't just lose to Nebraska. They were behind by 12 with 2 minutes to go. They weren't even in it. I mean, it was, it wasn't the Nebraska hit a buzzer beater to beat them. They beat them flat out. So they got a lot of problems coming home to play Illinois on Thursday. Need to turn the corner and get going back the other direction.
Yeah, and that's no cakewalk. I think they're going to win that game. But I thought they'd go to Lincoln, Nebraska and take care of business there. But anyway, our shameless plug for the day, if you're not a Bucknuts subscriber, now's a great time to try our 7-day free trial. Get on to Bucknuts, click the subscribe link, upper right-hand corner, try our 7-day free trial. For our subscribers out there, we got a ton of great stuff on the site today. Bill Krolik's Recruiting Buzz is already on the site. The boarding house is going to be packed with juicy items. So plenty of good stuff for our subscribers on Bucknuts.com today.